So hi, everyone. Well, good evening. My name is DaVonne Fuller. I am the assistant to the Family and Community Engagement Program at Center of Life. And tonight I'll just be showing you some navigation for Pittsburgh Public Schools students and parents with their online learning. Of course, with Microsoft Teams, as well as Schoology and Clever. So I'll be navigating through that. I don't have anything written, so I'll just be navigating through and talking through it. Of course, if there's questions, Kiyomi will, of course, let me know if there's any questions. And if I'm moving too fast, let me know. And I'm hoping that this navigation webinar will help and hopefully help students as well and parents. I know it was a bit, Schoology was a bit not hard, but I couldn't understand it at first. So I'm hoping by now people have a little bit of gist of what's going on, but if not, we definitely wanted to do this presentation to help anybody that doesn't understand it. So I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be jumping in and out of my screen a few times here tonight. And like I said, if I'm moving too fast, please let me know. So the first thing I'm going to show you all is how to get on to Schoology. I always compare it to Schoology as like the actual book bag or the locker of the students. This is where they get their work. This is where their books are. This is also where the teachers often communicate to the students. And this is where you can communicate to the teachers as well. So my first thing I'll show you is how to get on to Schoology, which is actually through Clever and the PPS website. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I just pulled up just my first page because I already logged into one of my students' pages, their Schoology, and I could, of course, couldn't show their information. So what you'll first do, of course, is you'll click into Pittsburgh Public's website. As you see, it's pghschools.org, and it'll bring you to this page, which is Pittsburgh Public Schools webpage, which is quite a lot. But what we need to focus on is just getting to Clever, which will allow you to get into Schoology. So you just want to scroll down a bit and you'll see it. It says Clever right here with a C. You'll click onto that and it will bring you to, well, it brought me to my page already, but what it'll do is generally bring you into a sign-in page and you'll have a sign-in information. You can find that information either on your student's schedule, I believe, and there was also an additional information that Pittsburgh Public had sent out to all families with the login information for your student. So if you misplaced that or you just can't remember it, I believe you can get in contact with your school, Pittsburgh Public School that your student goes to, and you can either get that information through the principal or I believe the social worker as well. And now that we're online learning, it shouldn't be hard for anyone to afford you that information. So as you see, I'm already in Clever. It didn't give me the sign in screen because I was already signed in. So as you see, I'm in Clever and I'm already logged into my daughter's page, which she's in second grade. So you'll know immediately if you logged in. First, it won't let you in if you haven't logged in properly, but also it'll let you know exactly whose page you're on because I have multiple students. So I have a second grader and a fourth grader. So I always have to look on the right-hand upper corner to make sure of whose page I'm in. So you can see your students' information right here, which is considered their profile. And so we'll scroll down a little and we want to go into Schoology. So Schoology is right here. I put it in my favorites, or Schoology is on your left-hand side. And you want to click into that. And like I said, I always reference this to as me actually going into my daughter or my son's book bag or their locker, or just checking their homework, checking what what work that the teacher gave them. This isn't necessarily the actual class. So that's what I always liken it to, Schoology, as if you're just checking their homework, checking their book bag for their homework or for their schoolwork or what they did that day, information that the teacher may have want to even give you. This is considered like more like their book bag. So as you can see, we're at her course dashboard. So up in the top, you'll see courses, which it'll list all of your students' classrooms or all of your students, what classes they're in. So as you see, she has music, she has visual arts, science, civics, math, and generally the teacher has like a Bitmoji in there. And every dashboard looks a bit different according to how old your student is, how it's set up according to which teacher they have. So like I said, she's second grade, so it's a bit more visual for her, just so she can navigate it. And I always remind parents of this as well. Ask your student. Your student absolutely knows how to navigate Schoology and Clever. They didn't utilize it often, but they did utilize this in the classroom when they were in person. So their login information, a lot of the students know all of this already. Of course, you want to make sure you have the information, but ask your student. That's what I do a lot. If I don't understand something, I immediately ask my student, and they usually tell me exactly what to do. I'll just go into her reading class. So any class you want to get to, her reading, math, civics, you just click right into that. And as you can see, Alana, she's in Menadeo. So as you see, her second grade reading teacher is Miss Leventree. So what she did, which is wonderful, and all teachers don't do this, is that she put her schedule up. So she put her schedule up for day 2, and she normally does that every day. She puts up their schedule, so she'll see, you can actually go in and see where she needs to go and what time and how long. So most of the teachers have a actual link, and I'm like circling it now, to where you just click into this link and it'll take you right to the classroom, which we'll get to in a little bit. And all of the teachers' dashboards aren't the same, so don't panic if your student's dashboard does not look like this, but you get to it all the same way. And of course, you can always call your the teachers or your school to ask, if you don't find this link, or if it's maybe buried in some things. But most of the teachers and the staff have made it to a point where it's easiest for either your student or for yourself to find it. But if you can't find this link to take you right into the classroom, you can always for sure reach out to them. So what I'm going to do is go back. So we see she had homeroom. So say she was done with homeroom, but she needs to get to ELA, or she needs to get to art. So we want to go back to courses. That's always your home base. If you're like, I don't know what to do, where to go, hit courses. You want to go right back to that. And you'll find exactly where she's supposed to be. Now, what some teachers do, not all, they'll call the student, and you'll see generally a call, and I'll show you that as well a little later. They'll call the student if they don't see their student in their actual classroom. And generally, just like you would do your phone, you'll just hit the answer button. But if you're like, hey, I don't, where is she supposed to be at, or where is he supposed to be at? I know she's supposed to be in visual arts. You always want to go back to your courses. Always go back to your courses. And there's often times where you may click something and it takes you totally out of the page. Up here is generally where all your tabs are of where you've been. And anytime you can get back to that Clever page, you go back to Schoology, you're right back immediately to the dashboard. And like I said, courses in Schoology is always your home base. That's where you want to be at. So you can find the classrooms. And also it helps you to know when you click into the classroom. Let's go into her math class. When you click into her math class, it generally tells you who her tells me who her math teacher is. So if you're like, hey, I don't know where to go, what to do, at least if you can click in here, you know who to call. You can call the school and say, hey, my students are supposed to be in Miss Handler's class. I don't know how to get there. And they'll notify the teacher, and that way the teacher also knows you are having trouble getting the student in the class. And there's just that open communication, continual communication. So I'm going to just click into a couple other things. As you can see, we're in Miss Handler's class now. So most of their material, if you scroll down, depending on what class you're in, their material or their weekly assignments are generally lined up like this. Now, like I said, both of my students go to Menadeo. I'm not sure if other Pittsburgh public schools line up their information differently, but it seems to be that they all do it the same way. So this is how you'll find their assignments. Once again, Schoology is their book bag, is their locker. So you're really in here to see where are they supposed to be at and where is their work at. So when you get in there, so let's go back. We're in the courses. I want to take her to math class. She's supposed to be in math class. So I click into math class. When she gets into math class, as you see, there's that link to get her to her classroom. It's always generally at the top of the page. They make sure it's big enough so you know, okay, she's supposed to be in class right now. So let me click her into class. So, and like I said, this is her book bag, this is her locker. So when you're making that click into class, you're actually walking them to class pretty much. So we say, Ms. Handler says, okay, it's time for you to go into your lesson for today. And we need to get to your assignment. It's all in her class, it's all in her locker, it's all in her book bag. So you want to scroll down and they should emphasize where they need you to be. So we're at, what week are we at? Oh, okay, here it is. Week 16. So it's at the top. So I clicked her week 16, and as you see, she labeled it Tuesday, Monday work. I don't see Wednesday work in there yet, but I see Friday work. And she should, or he should let you know where, what lesson they should be in. They'll click into that assignment. If you're, of course, if you're having trouble with it, if you're not understanding the assignment, once again, you know exactly what teacher they're speaking with, so you can reiterate that to the teacher. And let me see. So we went down her vocabulary. So let's click into another classroom. So we go right back to our courses. And we'll click into her science. I believe she may have the same teacher for science. And once again, there it is, Ms. Handler's science class. That's how you get into her classroom. This is you walking her to her classroom. Well, me walking her to her classroom. Once again, there's some things that are clickable inside of their virtual classroom, is what they call this piece right here. And they'll tell you what it does. Some things take you straight to activity. Some things take you straight to the actual classroom. And as you can see, there's information on how to get into her Teams meeting, actually. And you scroll down, once again, it's all labeled. It's labeled. And like I said, every teacher may have done their virtual classroom a bit differently, but it seems like they're all set up generally the same. And I always tell people, go in and play around. You can't break nothing. So just go in and click stuff. That's all you can do. And just to find out, that's how I learned a lot of navigation or how to work with computers. I just start clicking buttons, really. I know that's not the best lesson, but that's what I do. So as you can see, once again, you go in the Pittsburgh Public website, you hit Clever. Once you get into Clever, it'll bring up a sign-in page, and you'll take your students' information and put that sign-in information in, and then you'll either hit Schoology. It'll take you right into this dashboard, which is Schoology, and you'll click into that, and it'll bring you to, as you see, it's bringing me back into Schoology, and I'm at my course dashboard. And that's where you want to go. You want to go straight to your courses, and you're in your student's classroom or student's book bag. You'll get into whatever class you need to get into. She needs to go into a visual art, as you see. Once again, here's her link to get right into her classroom. This is your link to walk your student to their class. You scroll down, Here it is, all her schoolwork. And then these are 3 different teachers. So as you see, there's 3 different teachers, but they all have this pretty much the same format. And then once you get down to basic format, you should be okay to navigate any other students you have. Like I have a 4th grader, and pretty much is set up the same way. He doesn't have the schedule set up. And that's why I recommend most parents, if not all, can get an actual hard copy of the schedule, because the schedule will also let you know where are they supposed to be at what time. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing. And I wasn't sure if there was any questions at this time. And I feel like I moved pretty fast. Okay. So, and like I said, I liken to Schoology. You go into the PPS website, you click Clever, and then it'll take you into the sign-in page, and then you'll get into Clever. Once you're in the Clever, which is your main dashboard, you'll hit Schoology. Once you're in Schoology, you always stick with that course dashboard. I keep saying it's a book bag, it's the locker, it's where you find out information. It's for your student, it's where you find the student's assignments, as well as where you'll be able to walk them to the classroom. So what I'll do next is show you how to get into actual Microsoft Teams. So Schoology is, like I said, your book bag, your locker room, the hallway, if you will. And you'll get your assignments there. You'll get information from the teachers there. You also can communicate in there in the chat part. Now, Microsoft Teams is your actual classroom. So your students can log into Schoology or Clever all day long, do their assignments, but at some point the teacher needs to see them. So that's almost essentially like your student going into the actual building, picking up their schoolwork and leaving back out and going home to do their work. Never interacting with the teacher, never talking to the teacher. And this is Microsoft Teams is the actual classroom, is where your student will sit down at their desk, interact with the teacher. The teacher will explain the lesson, as well as sometimes do the lesson while they're in class. If your student doesn't go to class, then guess what? They're marked not there. So both of these platforms are very, very important. You can do the work all day, do it right all day, but if your teacher never sees your student, then they weren't present at school. And so I'm going to next screen share is Microsoft Teams, which I call the classroom. And this is where your student pretty much is seen. They're able to interact with their peers. They're able to interact with the teacher. The teacher is able to interact with them. And this is where they learn their lesson for the day as well. So let me screen share. So Microsoft Teams, I'm not sure if everybody can see. Can everyone see my screen? Okay. All right. So I don't know if you can see the bottom of my screen. I always look at the T. There's a T generally at the bottom of your student's laptop. Can you see that, Kiyomi? No? Okay. Let me see if I can bring it up there. It's not letting me do it. Let me try this again. Okay, it's not letting me do it. So let me just share.
You can just describe it to us.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Let me go back. Okay. So there's generally at the bottom of your of your student screen, main screen when they log into their laptop. And also one more thing, their student login is the same as to get into their laptop, is to get into Schoology, as to get into Microsoft Teams. Anytime you see a sign-in pop up on that PPS laptop, type in that sign-in that you got from the school. And it's unique to your student. So you type in something else, it's not going to work. And like I said, the PPS laptop is unique to your student, and it has been programmed to work for their sign-in information. So that sign-in information, anytime you see your student needs to sign into something, put that in. And if it doesn't work, then that's when you reach out to the school or to the teacher. But that sign-in should work for all the platforms that they have to be on. So Microsoft Teams it usually has a T to it. It's just a little tiny T. And it should be on either your home page or on your toolbar. And when you click onto it, you'll see this is what you'll come into. You'll come into the dashboard of the team. Now, I liken the teams to the actual classroom. So this is, of course, where your student is actually sitting. So you're no longer there, pretty much. You're not supposed to be there. And now you generally won't have to go into Teams. So what will happen is that link, that big link, bold link that I showed you in Schoology, in your teacher's dashboard, will take you right to this. When you click it, it should take you straight into Teams. So that's why I always say Schoology is the classroom. Schoology is the backpack, the hallway, the locker room. The locker. When you click that link, it will immediately take your student into their classroom. So once they're in their classroom, generally they have to wait for someone. It'll prompt them to wait till someone allows them to join the meeting or join the classroom. And this is fairly simple because, like I said, once you click that link in Schoology, you probably won't have to do any of this, but I just would like to show you all what it even looks like. So if you can see up here, I don't know if you can see this. On the right-hand side, if you click it, you'll see, once again, you can see her name. This is her and available. As you can see, it'll let you know what all those all those statuses mean. So available, busy, she's available right now because I'm in there. Appear away, all of that lets you know that they're available. They're actually on Teams right now. Now, sometimes a status will show available, but that doesn't mean they're actually sitting in front of their computer. It just lets you know that they're actually logged in to Teams. So once you're on Teams, there's the chat feature. So technically, the students aren't supposed to be using the chat feature on the Teams. They're only supposed to speak and chat through Schoology. Now, I know some do use it, some parents use it just because it's quicker. You're talking to the teacher right then and there instead of logging out or getting out and going to another screen. But technically, this is just classroom time. That's all that it is. They see the teacher sees them. They learn a lesson, then they can do their work. To chat and things like that, you're really not supposed to do that in Microsoft Teams, although it still can happen. And there's assignments. All of this, it doesn't matter for our PPS students. They won't have any of that in here. All of that is Schoology. And like I said, this is just their classroom. So I don't have an actual meeting prompted to come up so I can show you what it looks like when you're inside a meeting. But like I said, I always would go in and just kind of click around, just like I learned Zoom. That's how I learned it. And if you can think about the way you do Zoom, mute your mic, turn your camera off, screen share. That's all the same in Microsoft Teams. It just may be named differently. And as well as it may be in like a different area, like the mic may not be on the left side, it may be on the right side. So I always let parents or anyone that I'm helping go in and kind of click around when your student is out their classroom, they're done with school. I would just go in and kind of click around just to learn the navigation of it. And let me see. So I'm going to show some parents, and the reason I'm showing you all this is because I just recently dealt with this. So I don't know if any parents have, or families, let me not just say parents, any families have experienced this. Your student is sitting in our classroom or sitting into Teams and listening, and then they'll get a notification if someone's calling them or someone is trying to message them. Well, when you hit this profile picture, there's settings. And in the settings, you can go to notifications. And in that, you can turn those things off because that's like them talking in classroom. My daughter, if she's trying to call her brother or her brother's trying to call her in the middle of class, that's essentially like her going to her brother's classroom and just stopping in there and starting to talk while the teacher's talking. So if you're having those type of problems or issues, rather, you just want to hit you want to hit their profile and go into settings and go to notifications, calls, permissions, whatever it is that you kind of want to turn off in there, you can access that through there. So that is really all that I had to show everyone. So I'm going to stop screen sharing to see if anyone has questions.
Yeah, so if you turn off the notification, then the teacher won't be able to call them?
So what it is there's you can turn a notification off on like different levels. You can just turn the sound off and you can actually still see it pop up, or you can just turn it completely off. So when you go in, there should be a like play sound for notification, and it can turn off the sound, but it'll still pop up on their screen. So that I would say will be the only downfall to it, is if you're not paying attention, you can't hear the teacher calling. But if you see that that is an issue with your student, either calling someone or their peers calling them, that's something you definitely can go in and turn on and turn off. Sometimes I'll go in and turn it off during class and then turn it back on or something like that. So it's really up to your discretion. But yes, once you turn it off, it will also do that for the teachers calling in as well.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And I also I show my student this too, to some degree. I showed them different things, how to do their notifications. I know sometimes my daughter was getting notifications in the middle of class and she was like getting frustrated with it, because sometimes the students will call their peers to try to let them into the classroom if they're not getting in fast enough. So I also kind of sit with my students and just kind of show them how to navigate and how to work it. Because as they get older, they're going to kind of be more and more on their own to do things. So it's best that they learn it. I don't foresee us coming out of this type of learning anytime soon. So it's best they learn it as much as possible, as much as they can. And if you like, even the slightest, bit, I will always, like, other families, other parents, I'm like, hey, I know how to turn the camera off. I don't know how to do nothing else, but at least that little bit helps the next person. So whatever and maybe another family knows, like, put your heads together and be like, we can figure this out together. I also Google everything. So that's another thing. I Google everything. I YouTube everything. Like I said, most of the platforms are all kind of being seamless. So they all starting to work and navigate the same. There's not much difference with Zoom than there is with Teams. Like, we had to let you in, you were in a waiting room. That's the same way with Teams during the waiting room. So all platforms are generally they navigate the same. Like I said, the mic might be on the right instead of the left. But you click it and turn it off just like you would in Zoom. And I always just advise people to go in and just kind of click around. If anything major happens and it actually breaks, you can blame it on me. And of course, if anybody would like to get in contact with me and say, hey, I need a little bit more intricate help, I'm more than willing to help with that. Or just, questions that you think of along the way. I'm definitely open and willing. And if I don't know, I'm always like, hey, I'll go ask somebody for that information. But that was really my presentation and the navigation. Like I said, if you know, if you have questions, any additional questions on it, let me know. And if not, I'm hoping this helped a little bit or somewhat, or maybe you can help someone else. And ask your student, sometimes they pretend like they don't know things, but they know a lot. They know, especially with Schoology, they know a lot. I was like typing in my son's password one day, and this is actually like the beginning when we were like at the end of last year, and I'm like typing it in wrong, thinking he didn't know anything about this, and he's like, I knew it. And I'm like, I didn't try it about 10 times. Why didn't you been tell me this already? So students, they know exactly what to do. And of course, they'll ask for help if they don't, but ask your student first. And if there's no more questions, Kiyomi, I'm finished.
Yeah, there's no.
This was great. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? There aren't any other questions in the chat. And again, this will be recorded and I will send the YouTube link out to all of you so that way you just sort of, you know, have it saved in case you want to go back because that was a lot of information. So, so thank you so much, DaVonne. But yeah, and then like DaVonne said, if you have any other questions, DaVonne, do you want to put your work cell in the chat and then people can save that? Because don't call me for this because I'll just call DaVonne. I mean, you can call me, but then I'm going to call DaVonne and I'm going to ask her the questions you asked me. So she's sort of my guru and all of these stuff.
So what you're saying is it's just going to go back to Miss DaVonne.
It is. Yes, Diamonds. You can call me. You are welcome to call me and I will chat your ear off, but then I'm going to call Miss DaVonne and tell her to call you. So yes.
Okay.
And I'll also send that out in email to everybody. I have all of your emails. I'll add it to our email list. If at any time you're sick of getting all the emails from me, just let me know and I'll take you back off the list. But that way, you know what's going on with the rest of our workshops that we have. I know that we're planning on, Planned Parenthood is going to do a follow-up workshop about, they did a workshop on intimate partner violence for us last month because October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and they're looking to do a follow-up support workshop on that this coming month, just about how, if you know someone that's in an intimate partner violent relationship, how can you help them? Like some resources that you can utilize through that. So be on the lookout for when that gets scheduled. And certainly if you have any other questions, just let DaVonne and I know.
And I also want to let all PPS families know, I'm pretty sure some of you already had got the notification, but they had moved, I believe, the tech centers to the south side. And I believe they're only open 8 to 4 Wednesdays and Saturdays. So they're now on the south side, but that's where they'll direct you. And I believe you have to like sign up if you have any tech help. And like Kiyomi said, if you have tech information, question, you can definitely call me or call Kiyomi. She'll call me, and I'll definitely try to troubleshoot through that. And then if not, then of course I'll let you give you the information on how to get to the tech center.
And then also, if you have a PPS student at home, also remember that PPS is giving out promo codes for you to get Internet Essentials for free. So if you already qualify, if you meet like the income guidelines for Internet Essentials and you also have a PPS student, you can get a promo code from them so that you get that program for free. So if you have any questions about that, you can definitely email us. I just need the information about your PPS students, and then I can get a hold of PPS and get you a code and get back to you on that.
Is there like a flyer for that, Kiyomi?
Would you like me to make a flyer?
Yeah, because that way I can post it to our Facebook page and
okay,
spread the word.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, great job, DaVonne.
Oh, thank you. I hope that helped. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate you guys joining and learning this, and just want to let all the families know, parents included, we are going to get through this. We are going to learn this, and we're going to be better for it.
Thank you so much, Ms. DaVonne. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be in touch soon. Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks for the encouragement.